We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
It allows them to get a clearer picture, people horizontally faster, right? And it also, conversely, makes it easier to think a tick longer, because they clear the
This shit is not fun. There's a whole lot of crazy shit going on. You know,
Well, as you may know, rapper 50 Cent has been teasing a documentary about his purported rival, Sean Diddy Combs, for more than a year. But now the 4-part docuseries has finally premiered on Netflix. The series explores Combs' life, from his upbringing, the creation of Bad Boy Entertainment, to all of the allegations of assault since the 1990s. And it also investigates his alleged connection to the of iconic rappers Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur, featuring insights from those close to him.
Everything in life, you're gonna have people that are bad and people that are good. You have to choose your side.
Watched all 4 episodes of the Diddy documentary series, and you guys, this one had my jaw on the floor. It's called Sean Combs: The Reckoning, and when I saw the executive producer was the king of petty 50 Cent himself, as well as read the director Alexandria Stapleton's vision, I just knew it was going to be good. It promised never before seen footage, testimonies.
What if the most shocking part of Sean Combs: The Reckoning wasn't what we saw, but everything we never got to see? The documentary already left viewers stunned, but some of the darkest, most unsettling details were completely left out, which means most people walked away missing huge pieces of the real story. Today we're breaking down the disturbing revelations you didn't notice, not because you overlooked them, but because they were never shown in the first place. From hidden allegations to long-buried controversies, we're unpacking the 7 explosive truths that Netflix didn't include. Stay tuned. The real reckoning starts now.
Sean Combs.
All of these reincarnations, all those name changes are attached to really bad deeds.
so they knocked the Bad Boy building down. Yeah. Like, that shit was crazy to me that shit wasn't there. It was just a sign to me, like, nigga, time to go to the future. Time to go to the future. That was a little building. Prepare for the building, and I got ready to be son. You know what I'm saying? So it was a sign to me like that, but I'm saying that shit there like 2 months ago, right? I'm not tripping. Yeah, it was there. Yeah.
Puff is in this position where he has all this turmoil, but he's not at the point where he's saying where I went wrong. He's saying to himself, how do I get out of this? Maybe I can convince some witnesses that I'm not the guy who I am. Eventually, he's gonna get to the point where he's gonna ask himself, how did I get myself into this situation?
Listen to me. I'm gonna get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed.
Losing.
Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time.
50 Cent did not come to play. No matter what and how you feel about Diddy and 50 Cent, this documentary was done exceptionally well. I'm talking about the first-hand interviews, the videos, the audio, the footage, cadence. I mean, he came with all the receipts. I don't know about y'all, but I learned so much new information about things that I didn't even know. Woo!
The Netflix documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning traces Diddy's life from his childhood all the way to his rise as a music powerhouse and finally to the legal battles that took him down. Directed by Alex Stapleton and executive produced by 50 Cent, the 4-part series pulls viewers into his decades-long influence and the controversies that followed him everywhere, from his feud with Tupac to his turbulent relationship with Cassie Ventura to the many essay allegations over the years.
Featuring insights from those close to him, witnesses from his racketeering and trafficking trial, and jurors who heard weeks of testimony. So we're not only going to dig into some of the biggest moments from this series, but also what Combs' legal team is doing, because they are pushing back quite hard against the whole project.
And they delivered. Because just imagine hiring an entire camera crew to allegedly try to rebuild this facade of being a good person, all because you're about to be put on trial for crimes that will put you away for a long time. And months after getting arrested, one of your biggest ops got a hold of those tapes. And what they do with it is make an expose documentary. Oh, and baby, they exposed him, not only from the footage, but also the people who really knew him during this time.
More than a dozen people from his inner circle speak out, including Aubrey O'Day, jurors from his 2025 trial, and his former assistant, Capricorn Clark. They talk about his personal relationships, his temper, his success, and the darker patterns people claim to witness behind closed doors. But even with everything that was exposed, the documentary still left out a lot of major allegations and stories. Here are 7 disturbing details about Diddy's life and controversies that never made it into the docuseries.
Of new information, no one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with his actions.
1. Diddy's alleged freakoffs that didn't involve Cassie. When Combs was indicted in 2024 for exploitation and racketeering, prosecutors accused him of using his businesses to set up what they described as highly produced, days-long intimate events. According to the indictment, these freakoffs allegedly involved women, male adult workers, heavy substance use, and were sometimes recorded, with or without consent.
The last freakoff tape that just got sold on the dark net, which I know because I monitor, went for $500 million. It had multiple stars in it. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, Drake. It was a really interesting night in Calabasas.
The documentary only scratched the surface through the story of Clayton Howard, a male adult worker who said he was involved in several sessions with Diddy and Cassie together. He described how Combs directed their movements and timing, but he didn't talk about any other alleged freakoffs beyond the ones involving the 3 of them. The series didn't explore the claims from others who said they were also forced to participate, leaving out a huge part of what prosecutors accused Combs of running behind the scenes.
Domestic violence came from the fact that she would emasculate him. She would do things that let him know he had a small penis, that she really wasn't trying to hear what he was saying. Diddy's an arrogant, petty dude, bro. He's not trying to hear that. He's super competitive. He believes he's supposed to be in control. So his woman trying to embarrass him in front of me is a no-no. That's why he used to hit him.
2. Kim Porter's demise and the theories that followed. The docuseries addresses Diddy's long, complicated relationship with Kim Porter, their years together, the family they built, and the tension that reportedly grew when he began dating Cassie. But it never touched the topic viewers expected: Porter's sudden passing in 2018. She passed away at 47 from lobar pneumonia, a loss that shocked Hollywood because of how quickly it happened and how mysteriously her symptoms were at the time.
But even in the earlier episodes, when you heard what happened to Joy, Kim Porter, and Misa, that is just such a sad and situation. And nothing pissed me off more than those jurors. Nah, because if I were them, I would have kept that shit anonymous.
The documentary also avoided the conspiracy theories that exploded online, with some people falsely suggesting Combs had something to do with her demise. During Diddy's 2024 legal troubles, their children publicly shut these rumors down. They released a statement saying the stories about their parents were hurtful and untrue.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. Then right after that, Al had a meeting and I was survivors and the late of Uptown Records. They were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning, gone. Just him.
They explained that their mother's cause of passing had long been confirmed and that there was no foul play. They also begged the public to stop spreading rumors so they could keep grieving in peace. 3. Diddy's annual white parties and the famous guest list. The docuseries talks about how Diddy loved throwing parties, but it never dives into his iconic all-white parties, the ones that became a huge part of his image during the late 90s and 2000s. From around 1998 to 2009, he hosted these massive summer events at his Hamptons home, and the rule was simple: everyone had to wear white. Each year, the parties got bigger and flashier, drawing singers, actors, athletes, and business elites. People like Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Leonardo DiCaprio, and even Donald Trump were seen there. His last white party happened in 2009 in Beverly Hills and reportedly had stilt walkers, models, and wild pool setups. After Diddy's 2024 arrest, his team pushed back on all speculation, saying the media was twisting fun cultural events into something sinister. They insisted that videos, photos, and celebrity attendance were being taken out of context, and that the parties weren't tied to any wrongdoing. 4. Cassie's emotional testimony during the trial. One of the biggest omissions from the documentary was Cassie Ventura's testimony in May 2025. She took the stand and spoke openly about her allegedly physically harsh relationship with Diddy and her involvement in the alleged freakoffs. She described feeling like she couldn't refuse anything he demanded, and she said he recorded her as a form of control. She also said she relied on substances to stay awake and numb herself during the long sessions he arranged. According to the written court coverage, Cassie said she would take pills constantly, and that friends or dealers were contacted whenever they ran out. She described the experiences as emotionless and said she never wanted to be intimate with strangers. Cassie testified for 4 days and was considered the prosecution's key witness. Even though the docuseries covered the trial itself, it didn't include her testimony or explain its impact on the jury. Cassie also chose not to appear in the series at all. 5. Kid Cudi's claim that Diddy bombed his car. The documentary briefly touches on Diddy's rocky history with Kid Cudi, including the time Diddy allegedly stormed into Cudi's home after learning he'd been talking to Cassie. Diddy's former assistant, Capricorn Clark, even testified that he forced her, at point, to drive him to Cudi's house in 2011, though Cudi wasn't home. But the docuseries leaves out one of the most explosive claims: the bombing of Cudi's Porsche in January 2012.
They did get into Kid Cudi because she was dating Kid Cudi at one point. And, you know, there are all sorts of stories that Kid Cudi's car blew up and it was Diddy that had one of his goons go out and blow it up. And they got into this and they talked about it. She never delivered the knockout blow and said, and Diddy told me that he did it. But they reference blowing up Kid Cudi's car, but she never says he did it.
During the 2025 trial, Cudi testified that a Molotov cocktail destroyed his car shortly after he started dating Cassie during one of her breaks from Diddy. Prosecutors said Diddy orchestrated the attack, and both Cudi and Cassie said they believed he was behind it. Cassie even told investigators that Diddy threatened to blow up Cudi's car around that time. Diddy, however, has strongly denied having anything to do with the incident. 6. Diddy's life after the 2025 trial and how he's living now. The docuseries shows how the jury reached its decision. They acquitted Diddy of the exploitation and racketeering charges, but convicted him on 2 counts of transporting people to engage in paid intimate work. It also flashed a short update saying he was sentenced to 50 months in prison, including credit for a year he had already served, along with a $500,000 fine. When the series premiered on December 2nd, Diddy was serving time at the FCI Fort Dix, a federal facility on a military base in New Jersey. Before that, he'd been held at the MDC in Brooklyn until he was transferred in October. The documentary doesn't show what his day-to-day life looks like behind bars, but news outlets previously shared small details, like what he ate during the holidays: turkey, vegetables, and deli meat for Thanksgiving, with baked Cornish hen expected for Christmas. It's a tiny glimpse into how drastically his world has changed since the trial. 7. Diddy's 2-decade feud with executive producer 50 Cent. Another major detail missing from the docuseries is the long-running feud between Diddy and 50 Cent, and this one is messy.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff, is that a relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity.
50 Cent served as an executive producer on the documentary, and while his name appears in every episode, the series never mentions their bad blood. Their rivalry goes all the way back to 2006, when 50 released a diss track accusing Diddy of being tied to Biggie's 1997 assassination, an accusation Diddy has always denied. Things simmered for years until 2024, when Diddy's homes were raided. That's when 50 Cent became extremely vocal, calling out Diddy's alleged behavior across social media.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage.
In interviews, he later explained that people thought he was suddenly doing something outrageous, but from his perspective, he'd been saying the same things for a decade. It was just now aligning with the headlines. Ahead of the series' release, Diddy's team tried to discredit it, calling it a shameful hit piece and claiming it used unauthorized footage. Netflix quickly shut that down and clarified that the footage was legally obtained, that the project wasn't retaliation, and that 50 Cent didn't have creative control over the series. No one was paid to participate in the documentary.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News today, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage.
Now, those were the disturbing details the documentary never showed, the things viewers couldn't notice because Netflix left them out. But to understand the full picture, we also have to look at what the docuseries did reveal. Netflix still exposed years of allegations, patterns, and behind-the-scenes behavior that shaped Diddy's rise to power and the chaos that followed him. So here are the biggest revelations the documentary actually covered, the ones that shocked viewers everywhere. Sean Combs' The Reckoning presents a version of Diddy the public has never really seen. The 4-part series tracks his climb to hip-hop fame, the empire he built, and the downfall that led to federal charges and more than 60 civil lawsuits. Although he pleaded not guilty, he was convicted on 2 counts related to transporting individuals for paid intimate work, and is now serving a 50-month sentence, with release expected in 2028. He was acquitted of the more serious RICO and exploitation charges, but still denies all civil allegations.
I'm not a referee, so I'm gonna get off the phone right now. Listen to me. I'm gonna get off the phone right now, and I am gonna let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what nobody said. Let's just here and there. Y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
The documentary features interviews with people who knew him closely, from Bad Boy Records co-founder Kirk Burroughs to Mark Curry, Aubrey O'Day, and even one of the adult workers involved in the Freakoffs. It also includes never-before-seen footage of Diddy in the days leading up to his arrest, which sparked backlash from his team. They accused Netflix of twisting private moments and using footage without proper context.
And every single controversy that got brushed under the rug, or every situation that we didn't have enough answers for, almost all of them were covered. But nothing prepared me for what I was going to hear in episodes 3 and 4, especially when they dove deeper into Cassie's situation and what happened to Aubrey O'Day. And in that case, I have to say,
Director Alexandria Stapleton said all footage was obtained legally and explained that she began this project after Cassie Ventura filed her 2023 lawsuit accusing Diddy of SA and years of maltreatment. That case quickly settled but opened the door for dozens more accusations, and Cassie later testified in his trial. Stapleton worked with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who has famously feuded with Diddy for years. Diddy's camp claimed his involvement was driven by that feud, but Netflix denied it, saying Jackson had no creative control.
One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram,
Yeah,
because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in it.
The series ultimately delivers several major revelations through interviews and footage, including moments the director herself found shocking. Never before seen footage shows Diddy's final days before being arrested. One of the most talked about parts of the documentary is the never before seen footage showing Diddy in the days right before his arrest. Across all 4 episodes, viewers see clips filmed by a videographer he personally hired. And these moments reveal just how frantic and chaotic things were behind the scenes. Director Alexandria Stapleton said the footage was obtained legally and shared that she had really hoped Diddy would sit down for an interview, but it never happened.
Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figure most journalists would not disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his trial.
In the documentary, Diddy is shown in New York preparing to cooperate with authorities, while also trying to figure out how to spin the growing negative press. At one point, he's heard telling his team that they're losing, sounding frustrated as he sits alone in his hotel room. Later, the footage follows him through Harlem, where he talks to fans, takes pictures, and even accepts a jacket from a supporter. But the moment he gets back into his SUV, the tone shifts. He immediately asks for hand sanitizer and tells the people around him that he needs a very hot bath to cleanse himself because of how many people he interacted with that night. He explains that he wants boiling water and peroxide, saying it's the only way he feels he can get clean again. The Bad Boy Records co-founder said Diddy figured out a way for Biggie Smalls to pay for his own funeral. The documentary doesn't just focus on the scandal of recent years, it also goes back to some of the most dangerous moments in hip-hop history. It revisits the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry of the mid-90s, the tension that eventually led to the tragic assassinations of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G., who was one of Diddy's closest friends. In the documentary, Bad Boy Records co-founder Kirk Burroughs recalls Diddy announcing that he planned to throw the biggest funeral New York had ever seen for Biggie.
Now, what I really want to know is what did they have to do to get all of this footage, as well as people coming forward? Like, did we really just get a confession of what really happened to Tupac that night? I mean, I feel like a lot of people already knew that he had something to do with it, but with this confession plus the paper trail from his former business partner, I don't know, I'm convinced. And every single controversy that got brushed under the rug, or every situation that we didn't have enough answers for.
But according to Burroughs, when Diddy added up the cost, he didn't want to cover it himself. Instead, he allegedly billed the funeral as a recoupable expense to Biggie's estate, meaning the late rapper's family would ultimately carry the financial burden. Director Alexandria Stapleton explained that including voices like Burroughs was crucial because many of his claims go back decades and reveals long-standing patterns in how Diddy operated. She said his stories reach all the way back to the early 2000s, which helped show the consistency in the behavior being described. An adult worker describes what his freakoffs with Diddy and Cassie entailed. One of the most disturbing parts of the federal indictment was the description of the freakoffs, the staged, intimate encounters Diddy allegedly arranged between women and male adult workers. The documentary brings forward one of those adult workers, Clayton Howard, who talks openly about his years of involvement with Diddy and Cassie Ventura. Cassie and Diddy dated for over a decade before breaking up in 2018, and Howard says his role in their relationship began back in 2009. He recalls Cassie telling him he was there to please her for her husband, explaining that the couple liked to spice things up. In the docuseries, Howard describes encounters involving baby oil, strict rules set by Diddy, and even moments where Cassie collected his bodily fluids as part of their routine. He also claims the couple flew him in on anniversaries of Biggie's demise so he could spend several days partying and sleeping with Cassie. According to Howard, these encounters went on for 8 years.
Because Diddy used to follow her in that room, bro. Again, like a little kid following his mommy for the juice bottle. I swear, right on her heels as she was going in the room. So when I heard that part of the testimony, it made 100% sense. I believed him. I slept with her so long. I'm not catching any diseases. She's showing me paperwork. You want me to dump on you, baby? No problem. She's telling me she's on the pill, so I'm doing it. Worst mistake I ever made, bro. If I could take it back, God, I wish I could take it back.
Director Stapleton said he seemed comfortable coming forward because he wanted control over his story, especially after Cassie's lawsuit made his involvement public. Howard later told Business Insider he had no regrets about participating, saying he believed the trial already revealed enough for people to understand he was telling the truth. He also made his own judgment about both Diddy and Cassie, saying he felt they both played roles in what happened. Cassie did not comment for the documentary, but past reports show she testified that she felt pressured into participating. She said she was in love, wanted to make Diddy happy, and didn't have the words back then to express how awful and humiliating the experiences felt. She said she couldn't tell anyone what she was going through at the time. Aubrey O'Day says she has no recollection of a possible essay by Diddy. One of the most haunting moments in the entire documentary comes from singer Aubrey O'Day. At one point, she reads an affidavit from a woman who claims she once walked in on Diddy and another man, essaying O'Day, saying something O'Day says she doesn't remember at all. Earlier in the documentary, O'Day, who rose to fame as part of Danity Kane, reads a disturbing email Diddy sent her back in 2008 when she was fired from the group.
You realize the burden that puts on my soul for the past year, the weight of that man and his I will never get up from under it.
Stapleton says O'Day wrestled with whether to share this on camera.
She didn't take that information and say, and this happened to me. I think that what you see in the film is her struggling to digest, did this happen to me or not?
In the message, he told her he didn't just want to sleep with her, he wanted to turn her out, and ended the email by saying he was jerking off to adult videos while thinking about her. Later, she reads the affidavit from a civil lawsuit. A woman explained that in 2005, while looking for a restroom, she opened a door and saw Diddy and another man involved in intimate acts with O'Day, who she described as extremely intoxicated and lying on a leather couch. The woman said she was 100% certain it was O'Day. Hearing this, O'Day asks out loud if that means she was SA'd, admitting she doesn't know and isn't sure she even wants the answer. Director Alexandria Stapleton said Aubrey's story was one of the most complex part of the documentary because O'Day herself was still trying to understand her own feelings in real time. Stapleton explained that it took many conversations before O'Day felt ready to share something so raw, especially since she couldn't speak in absolutes. She wasn't able to say it definitely happened, but she also couldn't dismiss it entirely, and she wanted people to understand that gray area instead of forcing a yes or no narrative. So after everything we've seen, the missing details, the hidden allegations, and the shocking moments Netflix did reveal, the big question now is, what do you think? Did the documentary go far enough, or did it leave out too much? And which revelation stunned you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more deep dives like this, make sure to hit subscribe and stay tuned for our next upcoming video.